Hi, I'm Marte Dela, and today we're going to be dissecting a prawn. So, aside from dissecting the actual prawn, today we're going to discuss briefly the general features or general characteristics of the organism. Then we're going to talk about, of course, the external features. So, I've already prepared my home-based dissecting kit. So, let's get to it. So first I'm going to talk about its general features. So as you can see, it has a bilateral symmetry. Then it also has a chitinous exoskeleton. Then here, 5 pairs of appendages. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, not including this. And there are 5 also on the other side. So the coloration, so earlier it was pale mint green, so it's not that fresh. And it has a bright orange highlight and a reddish appendages. So it is also segmented. It is generally 19 segments, and those 19 segments are divided into 2 sections, which is the cephalothorax, which has 13 segments, and the abdomen, which has 6 segments. So its size, I've measured it earlier, it has 15 centimeters total length, then a 4.5 centimeters carapace. So my initial ID for this organism is that it belongs to genus Metapenaeus. Now let's talk about the external features. So a prawn is divided into 2 sections, the cephalothorax and the abdomen. So first we're going to talk about the cephalothorax. So of course the cephalothorax includes this carapace. It also has this rostrum and of course the compound eyes. A prawn is divided into segments. So first we're going to talk about the segments from the cephalon or from the head. So we see this antenna, the first antenna or the attenules here is the attenules. This is the flagella of the attenules. Then also have the second antenna, which is the longer one. And we also have the mandible for grinding food. It's right here, near the mouth. And we also have the first maxilla, and for second maxilla for handling the food. Now let's talk about the segments from the thorax. So there are 3 pairs of maxillipids for handling food, and the third one of it is not for grinding food. So it's the first maxillipid, the second maxillipid, and the third maxillipid. Now it also has 5 pairs of periopods right here. This legs right here. And the first periopod is the first chilipid, so meaning it has claws. And also the second periopod and the third periopod. If you see, there is a claw right there, and the first, second, and the third periopod has claws, while the fourth and fifth doesn't have, and it is for locomotion. So now let's proceed to the abdomen. So the abdomen has 6 segments. So this shell right here, it is called the terga and the pleura. The first half right here is the terga, and the bottom half are the pleura. So it is sequentially overlapped. And below here, we have the what we call the pleiopod. So it is the first pleiopod, the second pleiopod, the third, fourth, the fifth pleiopod, and we have also the uropod right here. Basically, the pleiopod is used for power swimming and to incubate embryos. So the uropod is for steering and for swimming. So we also have here the telson of the prawn. So now we're going to start our dissection. Let's see if the internal organs are still intact because it's not that quite fresh anymore. So let's start. So now we proceed to the dissection of the alimentary system. So we're gonna see here the mouth, the buccal cavity, the esophagus, the stomach, the intestine, the rectum, the anus, etc. So this is the intestine, or this is the gut of the prawn. It's greenish right there. And now we're gonna cut here to see the rectum part. This right here is the rectum of the prawn. Just to add, this is the anus, and all the food ends up here. So this right here is the hepatopancreas. So this right here is the intestine. Then this is the hepatopancreas. So although it is not really quite that clear which is the pyloric stomach or the cardiac stomach, because you see that the organs are not really intact anymore. But more importantly, we can verify it because it is connected to the hepatopancreas. Now, the green part also here that you see is the esophagus of the prawn that connects to the ventral mouth, which is here, yeah, right there. So now let's proceed to the dissection of the nervous system. So first, we've already removed the carapace and the terga with the pleura. So I think it is said from the manual that the brain is located below the base of the rostrum. So the rostrum was situated here. So I would hypothesize that this right here is the brain. So it is also said that the brain is covered with fat. So I think these are fat. So we're gonna remove that later. We're also gonna remove these digestive tract to see the nerves, and let's see if it's still intact or if it's clear. So now we're gonna remove the fat to see the brain. So I think this is the brain, this brain right here, and there is also this tiny nerve. I think this is a nerve that connects that thing. Yep, I think, yep. And yeah, na cut siya. So this is the mouth right here. We found the mouth. Then here is the thoracic ganglionic mass, and this is the brain of the prawn. So I think we found the central nerve cord, or also called the ventral nerve cord, because it's located ventrally. So if you notice, it is really deep below. So that is the ventral nerve cord. So yeah, the nerve cord from here to anteriorly and connects to the main location of the ganglia, or here in the cephalon area. So I think that's it for the nervous system. And that concludes our prawn dissection. So earlier we also covered the general characteristics of the prawn, the external features and the internal features, also the nervous system and the digestive system of the prawn. So I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and bye bye.